Mario, Ruby, let's go. Let's go.
Come on, let's have a candid conversation. Let's talk about it. Just bring it up, we got hope and love.
Yeah.
It's all about you and your well-being. The Candid Conversation Show. Let's go, let's talk about
Hey,
it.
let's walk it out. Let's talk it out.
It's all about you.
Thank you for joining us for another Candid Conversation. Haitian Heritage Month is a nationally recognized month celebrated in May every year. It is a celebration of the culture, the art, and the delicious cuisine. There are so many events going on this month. Find one and attend. My name is Muriel.
And my name is Ruby.
Just because you see a smile does not mean everything is perfect. We all have a story. On the show, we discuss topics that are unspoken and taboo in our community. We are excited to have a conversation with Dejean. He is also known as the modern day Renaissance man. We will be discussing advocacy, his painful journey, and overcoming.
Dejean, welcome to the show.
Welcome.
Well, thank you. I'm excited to be here. How you guys doing today?
We're doing great.
Thank
We're
you.
doing great.
Twins. They say the same time.
We hear it all the time. We hear it all the
I
time.
see.
As my sister stated, we all have a story. And your story is so inspiring. I can't wait for the viewers to hear
Oh, thank
your
you.
journey. So we always lead the show with asking the guests to tell us a little bit about their childhood.
Okay.
Because we believe our childhood shapes who we become as adults.
And sad truth.
Yes.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah, so where you from? Tell us a little bit.
Well, you guys just talked about my little island a minute ago, I'm from the island called Haiti. Proud to be Haitian. Been here, going on 33 years now. 33 years
Long
in this
time.
country.
Floridian.
So I'm as American as it gets now,
Yes,
right?
you are.
Right,
You are.
That's right.
Yeah, sad truth too.
What
I'm as American as it gets.
part of Haiti?
I would traditionally say, Port-au-Prince, so everybody could be like, "Oh my God, you from
I know where that is.
Nah, I know, right? But I'm from Cafu.
Okay.
Cafu
Okay.
is in Port-au-Prince.
Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
from Cafu.
Okay.
If you translate that, it says could be crazy.
No.
Could be crazy.
It's true.
Yeah.
The translation, yes.
Yeah. If we translate it word for word, it could be crazy.
That's good.
What about your family? Brothers or sisters, your parents? Tell us
Oh
a little
man,
bit.
I was blessed. I have 7 sisters. I am the only boy.
Oh, spoiled rotten.
No,
What?
absolutely
Really?
the opposite. I wasn't raised with none of them.
Oh,
I know the perks of having a whole bunch of sisters.
yes.
And I had long hair for them to braid, and nobody was there to braid it. So sad.
Oh my.
But no.
Why were you separated from them?
That gets into my story. I
Okay,
guess,
go
right?
ahead.
So born in Haiti. When I was born, doctor said I would never walk.
Mm.
So from the waist down, actually nothing worked. And between my knees, still today, there's nothing in between my knees. It's bone on bone.
Really?
So I go to a chiropractor 3 days a week since I could remember.
So it was a birth defect?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Although God did a lot of perfections,
Yes,
but
yeah.
He left a little scar
So-
to remind
yeah,
me. You know,
yes,
he
yes,
does that.
He has to do
He
that.
leaves a little
Yeah.
thing on the side. Remind
Right.
you. So I have nothing in between my knees, and in my lower back, I have 3 fractured discs in my lower back.
Oh my.
So it creates what we call sciatic nerve damage.
Yes,
Okay.
that hurts.
You have some
Yeah.
painful.
Oh yeah. I woke up this morning. I kind of felt that I had to get a good stretch and get a good workout and
Right,
get
right.
that going.
You know what to do.
Yeah. So doctor said I would never walk. So for my first couple years of life, I just used to drag my lower body. But on my 3rd birthday, God had different plans for my life. I started walking was actually quite funny. There was a little kid in front of the front yard of our house. So I knew really gallery, the front part of the house. And she had this little piece of bread, and she kept nagging, I got bread, you can't get it. And she would run. And then I try to go for the bread, and I fall dead on my face.
Oh.
And then I would go for it again, and I fall dead on my face because I couldn't stand. I couldn't use my
Right.
legs. My dad at that time, he was an artist, so he was sitting there, he was painting. He's just looking at me. And then one moment, I crawled myself to the wall, picked myself up from the wall. She was standing by the wall, snatched the bread from her, ate that bad boy. And then she cried to my dad. He ate my bread, he ate my bread, he ate my bread. My dad's like, Junior, give it back. Too late now,
Yeah,
champ. It's
it's
gone.
gone.
But something happened at that moment. I actually took steps.
Oh gosh.
And my
thank
dad was
God.
actually shocked at the fact that, wait, he could take steps.
Right.
So the following months preceding that, my dad stood there every day working on me.
That's
Junior
right.
Masha,
That's
Junior
good.
Masha, Junior walk, Junior walk, Junior walk. And one day when my mom came, my mom was a seamstress. So when my mom came home, my dad was excited to tell her, hey,
Right.
Junior can walk.
Yeah.
And she was emotional for him because I'm the only boy and I'm never going to walk. So this was
Yeah.
very discouraging for her. So she's like, stop playing with me. You know the boy can't walk. Don't get my hopes up for nothing. And then he called me out the house. He said, Junior, come here.
Yes.
And then here go my little fat behind walking outside the house. So that was probably one of the first miracles that happened in my
That
life.
is a miracle.
Amazing.
And I'll transition to say to somebody that never let what somebody speaks into your life to be a reality.
That's right.
And I don't care if it's a medical professional, I don't care if
Doesn't
it's a
matter.
bastard,
Whatever it is.
don't care.
Yes.
If it goes against what you believe that you can do, don't accept
Right.
it. Right? And then my life continued to transition. At 6 years old, I had the luxury of being raped by 2 women. I know I picked the word luxury to bring it. I had the luxury of being raped by 2 women.
Where were you? Where did
Haiti.
this happen?
I was still,
Still in
in Haiti.
Haiti.
Still in Haiti.
So
Still
you
in
were
Haiti
at
to be-
home?
No. You know how we used to play back in the days? We go to the neighbor's house or the neighborhood, not really the house, because you had a whole block and a whole bunch of little houses, right? So we're playing on what we call Lago back in the days. So it's like hide and go seek in the dark.
Okay.
We play hide and go seek. And then they snatched me and they took me to a house and they did what they needed to do. And then my sister
goodness.
was looking for me and my sister went banging on the door. Let my brother out, let my brother out. When they finally, my sister caught me, they let me go. And my dad was my dad's a military man. He is as strict as they come, as deadly as they come. He is the only old school gangster Haitian I know with tattoos, and he smokes and he drinks and he got guns. My dad's a little gangster little old man, right? Gangster little old man. So I was terrified to tell my dad what happened to me.
Because
I
he would
felt
be
like,
out for them.
listen, if I told that guy what
That'd
happened
be
to me,
over.
that whole block would have been burned on fire.
Oh my gosh.
That guy, he didn't play no games.
Yes.
And I'm his only boy too.
Oh.
That man played no games. And we transitioned from that situation to, there was a situation in Haiti where Aristide was kicked out the country.
Yes.
He came to the United States trying to seek refuge. Well, my dad was caught up in that situation because he was working for the president
The
at the time.
government,
He was military. The guy that took over the country was called General Sirgas.
Okay.
And he was in love with my mother. He was a beautiful white Haitian man. My mom was a beautiful white Haitian woman. My mom is half Haitian, half Greek. And my
Okay.
dad's a black, ugly Haitian man.
Oh my gosh.
Right? You know how that
what?
goes. Colorism.
Yes, yes.
We have that in
Of
the
course.
islands.
Right.
We're one people, but we have colorism.
We
Right.
do.
So one day, Sirgas came to my dad's house, and then he brought me a little toy gun. I'm playing with the gun. My dad came and took the gun and shoved it, and said, "Don't give my son the gun." And then Sirgas looked at my mom, and he told my mom, "Why do you give such an ugly man beautiful kids?"
Oh my.
My dad is not the type of guy you
gosh.
talk to. He don't care if you're the general.
Yeah,
He
don't
tried
matter.
to kill him.
My dad don't care. My dad went inside, get the machete, put it in his neck.
Oh,
Probably not the best decision to do
Probably
to a guy
not.
that just took over a country.
no.
But my dad did it nonetheless.
Yes.
That guy didn't care.
He's
just,
fearless.
Yeah, he did not
Yeah.
care. Well, that night, Sirgas came back. He came back with a vengeance with 13 army trucks parked in front of my house.
Oh my goodness.
My dad begged me and my mom and my sisters to go hide. We went to go hide under the bed. Every type of fluid that I could probably release from my body, I probably released it that
night.
particular night.
Yes.
And then all I heard was gunshots running through the house. My mom is screaming, my sister's screaming. At that time, I had an older sister, which was 10. I was about 6, and a younger sister that was 2. And they were screaming, terrified.
Of course.
As soon as the bullets stopped flying, I ran out from that bed and ran outside. I'm daddy's boy. Get me to my daddy. And I couldn't tell you for the life of me still today why this man was still standing, but he was standing. He was standing proud with his machete in hand. He said, if anybody come up in this place right here, then jump up. He stood. Well, the next morning that had some more consequences. So when we woke up, they were, back then in Haiti, 6 o'clock, get in the house.
Right.
Ain't no walk in the street, get in the house.
Yeah.
Don't walk the streets. It's going to be the last walk you've ever took. So in human blood was written on our door, get out or die. So translation, sortir mourir. So my dad saw the seriousness of the situation. We got no president.
Nothing.
It's bloodshed every
Yes.
single night in the island.
Yes.
So my dad gathered with 13 other men. They built a small little raft. It's on the front page of the Miami Herald and New York Times.
Okay.
There's an article written about me and my dad coming to the United States. So we were making headlines early. And then they built a little raft for us to come to the United States, a little small boat. One night at 2 o'clock in the morning, in the midst of the dark, we're fleeing to the ocean. My mom won't get on the boat.
She was scared.
She is terrified. My sister's 2 years old. My mom's like, I don't know what's going to happen when we get on this boat.
Right.
She begged him to leave him.
Oh my goodness.
Now, this is probably the only time I would have supported a little bit of domestic violence. I mean, I knock her out, drag her on the boat, and take her with us. I need my mama, Dad, I don't know what you're going to do.
Right.
Drag her. Sleep, lady, sleep.
That's right.
Drag her. He didn't do that. He was a nice guy for her. He should have been mean that time. But he didn't do it. He left my mom and my sisters behind, and we got on the boat. I was the only child. There's a picture out there with me on a little boat. You see a whole bunch of men and a little child.
Oh my
I'm that child in the front page of the New York Times and Miami Herald, trying to come to the
Wow.
United States. We spent 3 days in the ocean. We got caught by the National Guards, and they shipped us to Cuba to prison.
Oh.
Oh, they
So-
shipped you to Cuba.
Yeah, because back then we had that rule, wet foot, dry foot. I'm not Cuban, so if I don't get it here, I'm screwed.
Right.
I may be light skinned, but I ain't Cuban. So, if I don't make it here, I'm screwed. So
Yes.
those rules still very
man.
rigid. You see what's happening in Texas, right? So those rules are
Yes.
still very rigid. So they took us to prison in Cuba, and they actually put all of the men in a prison cell, and they put me in a prison cell by myself.
Because you were the only child.
Yeah, and I was there for 30 days. So for the whole 30 days, I'm screaming. Me and my dad have the same name. I'm a junior, so I'm like Dejean. And it took them 28 days to find my dad because there's no real documentation.
Of course.
It's a refugee camp. It's
Right,
a prison.
right.
It took them 28 days, so I was in a prison cell by myself for 28 days.
At 6 years old.
At 6
Do you
years old.
remember?
Oh yeah,
How did you
vividly.
feel?
Terrified. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm being torn from my mother. I just finished getting raped. My house got shot up. Then I got torn from my mother. And now I'm in a prison cell with no parental guidance, and I don't know where I'm at. But I know I'm in a cell. And it lasted 30 days.
30 days. So did you think that you would, am I going to get out of here? What's going to happen? Am I going to reunite with my father?
That was the focus. The general focus for me is reunite my father. I don't care how they got me there. It was just find my father.
That's it.
Because at that time, my dad was like Superman in my head. Like, this
Of course,
guy,
he could do no wrong.
he's Superman. Like he could take out whatever.
Whatever.
So in my mind, I needed my Superman. And he wasn't there because I lost everything already, but my Superman wasn't there. It took 28 days to find my Superman, and they put us in a cell together. And then the National Guards came back, and they just get us 13. They got all of the Haitians that they were storing to go back for deportation, which was about 250 of us.
Oh my goodness.
My
Wait a
dad-
second. 250 people were.
Yeah, deported back to
deported.
Haiti for deportation, and execution.
Oh.
Yeah, because CEDAS didn't have that. It's kind of like Cuba. Remember when you left Cuba? You go back, what's Castro going to do?
Yeah.
He's going to kill you.
CEDAS was no different. Yeah, so execution. So my dad being, the character he is, he stood in front of the American boat with 250 Haitian people behind him, and Bob Marley playing in the background. That's how the reporter wrote it in the news article. And Bob Marley playing in the background, and Dejean Sr. said, if you're going to take us back, you must line us up and shoot us yourself.
Oh, my goodness.
This crazy guy.
Oh, my goodness.
Had to be my dad. Yeah, typical dad.
Oh, my God.
So guess what?
What happened?
All arms drawn because
What?
they're thinking about a rebellion, a coup d'état. You got 250 desperate people on a boat. At any given time, they can overtake that boat. If they're desperate enough.
Right,
They
right.
can do it.
And this little guy right here stood in front of the boat
My goodness.
and told the captain, you either line us up and you shoot us yourself, or you take us to the United States. These are your choices. So
Oh, my.
I guess before they took us there, I don't know who my dad had spoke to, they had promised, out of the 13, only 7 of us, political asylum.
Okay.
So my dad was like, you promised us entry, yes, entry. And my dad would not move
Until-
until they give us entry.
Right.
So
Okay.
they took 7 of us to the back of the boat while we watched the other 250 deported. So I was 7 at that time. At 7, I saw 250 people get slaughtered by the Haitian army.
They killed them right
7.
there.
CEDAS was not playing.
What
that was
kinda-
one vicious man.
My goodness.
Listen, we have to go back
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I just want to know what type of impact did that have on you at now 7 years old, 6 years old, you've been raped. Okay, that's one. Then you've been separated from your father for 30 days, 28 days. And now you've seen
200, well,
Plus
200 plus
people.
people get slaughtered in front of you at 7.
mentally, physically, emotionally.
At 7.
It built a callus. So it built like, remember, I was also torn from my mother and my sister.
That's
Right.
right. That's
So it built an emotional callus.
of course.
And a level of fear too.
Of course.
And then we finally made it to the United States, and we stayed in Chrome in Miami. And back then it wasn't that big building we have now. It was like little tents. as they were still building, so we were intense. And then there was a guy, they called him Blanc, which translates white. He had a brother living in Little Haiti.
Okay.
So they didn't have the strict restrictions back then. Now, if you want to bring somebody to the United States, you have to have the financial fortitude to afford them. Back then, it wasn't like that.
Of course.
Back then, you just, if they can get here,
Yeah.
Get here.
we'll leave them.
Yeah.
You can have them.
Right.
Because we don't want them.
Right.
You take responsibility.
Right.
You can have them, right? So his brother lived in Little Haiti in a one-bedroom efficiency with his wife and 2 kids in a one-bedroom efficiency. He came and took all of us. Now you got all of those 7 men plus me, him and his wife and
Yes.
kids were all living in a one-bedroom
One-bedroom
efficiency
efficiency.
in Little Haiti.
God bless him. Wow.
And then my dad was working for the, that big bus that come pick him up, take him out to the fields, picking cotton, picking beans and different things. And he would leave that. He'll come home. He'll feed me. Then
And
he'll
go back.
run
Go
back
back.
out. And he used to work for Denny's for $2.75 an hour cleaning dishes. Now this was a man with a big house in Haiti, military man, worked for the president, had 13 boutiques of art all around the United States. In the
And
United
this is what he's
States,
doing.
and this is his new condition.
But
This is his new condition.
He had to make that sacrifice.
right,
He made
because he
made-
wouldn't have been alive.
Yes.
He took a chance.
He was trying to take care of his child as well.
He did the best that he could. And from 8 till now, I don't think my dad has really physically been there because he's been too busy trying to be a provider. So physically, he wasn't there.
Okay.
He was a provider.
Right.
But the physical aspect of my dad was rarely there.
So that was a loss for you.
yeah,
a
but
big loss.
It was also a huge responsibility for me as well because I had to feed myself every day. So I had to learn how to cook real early. I ate a lot of salty and bad rice. I ate a lot of watered rice, hard rice.
Right.
Yes.
I had to learn
Yeah.
to trial and error.
Right.
I ate a lot of greasy spaghetti.
Yep, but you had to
trial
eat.
But I had to eat trial and error. But that also allowed me no parental supervision, so I ran the streets.
You had no discipline.
Where was the discipline?
Who's
Yeah,
gonna
he was
give
trying
it?
to hustle.
I mean, I ran the streets.
Yeah.
And back then, running the streets as a Haitian in Miami was probably not the best thing. Because Haitians was like a cancer in the United
It
States.
was.
Because Clinton just got the presidency, and then that garbage that Trump just stated recently was an old term where they said, "Oh, Haitians brought AIDS to the United States."
I can't
They're
say what I wanna
advertising
say.
that.
Yeah, she can't say
I
what
can't
she
say
always
what I
says.
wanna
It,
say.
Yeah. Well, I'll say it for you. They advertise that garbage in the United States. Like, this was public stuff.
Yes.
They were advertising all
Yes.
of these malicious things because we understand why they would say that about Haiti. Still to today, we understand because if it wasn't for Haiti, black people would still be incarcerated. I got it. Slavery still exists. I understand. You don't like that group of black people. We're gonna make sure they die. I get it. But being raised in a certain environment
Right.
with those narratives, black Americans did not like Haitians.
No,
because
not-
we would
they
come
didn't.
here, and we would work for twice as less because we just wanted something
Right.
so we could send back to our family.
That's it.
Right.
And then if somebody was born here and they already felt like they were entitled because they built this country,
They felt
which
like
I
it.
understood. They
Right.
built this country off their backs and their sweat. So they supposed to have first rights, but they want more, but they won't work for it.
Right.
Because they're entitled to have 40 acres and a mule.
Yeah, but the Haitians and the
But the
Caribbean,
Haitians that don't understand this concept because they own their own territory, they
Right.
own their own land, they work for everything. They're going to come in, they're going to get that on the muscle.
you got
Yes.
that right.
They're going to get that on the muscle.
yeah.
Well, that's a problem. That's a problem for people like
They
me.
didn't want to see it.
Yeah. So by the time I was 15, I was shot twice, stabbed 3 times.
Come
For
on.
being Haitian. Yeah, I got a couple of gunshot wounds on there and a lot of stab wounds.
Boy, you've been through something.
Yeah, you could say that.
And you like a cat.
9
I
lives.
don't know
lives.
about the cat. I'm just blessed. Thank you, God, for your
Yeah,
hedge
too,
of
of
protection.
course. That's number
Oh,
one.
Jesus.
You are definitely blessed.
Yeah, I
but
am.
My
I
gosh.
appreciate the hedge of protection because
Woo.
the weapons formed, but it still hasn't prospered.
Yes.
Thank you, God, for that.
There you go.
Yes.
I've seen a lot of those
Yes.
weapons. But by 15, I've had more guns pointed to my head than I can count. I've had more police abuse than I've had. I still have a broken rib from police abuse. At 15, my dad could no longer financially take care of me, so I took to the streets and started raising myself. And I stepped on the bridges. I ate out of trash
You
cans.
did what you had to do.
And still graduated high school with 3 scholarships, 3.8 GPA,
Amen.
and prom king as a homeless kid.
Excuse
Amen.
me. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
And prom king as a
Yeah,
homeless kid.
come
I was-
on.
I was
Tell me you're
sexy
not
that thing, like,
protected.
I had the braids, the boy
can't.
had the tats, I had the
can't.
gunshot wounds. How could I be not even? I played against LeBron. I played ball. I
What?
could
You
draw.
He couldn't tell you nothing.
Man, and I had a 3.8 GPA. You can't tell me
You
nothing.
can't.
Wow.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Wow. With
What?
everything that you've been through.
My dad taught me a valuable lesson at 14. He said, Junior, he says, on my left hand is a broom, on my right hand is a mop. You see all your friends that's going to college? I can't do that for you.
No.
He
you
didn't
gotta
set
do
no
it
false
yourself.
expectation.
Right.
That's the one lesson that I kept.
Absolutely.
He did not pretend to be something he was not.
Yes.
He was not perfect, and he never pretended to be perfect. He said, I can't afford
No.
to send you
Yes.
college. If you want to go to college,
gotta
like your
work for it.
friends, do it on your own strength. My dad had a 4th grade education. He had artistic skills and military skills, but he had no education.
Right.
He had trade.
He couldn't
help you.
skills.
Right.
Yes.
So he didn't know how to get me to college. He didn't
Right.
know how to get these things.
Yes.
He just told me, boy, I got a broom in one hand and a mop,
Mop
in
in
the
the
other
other.
hand.
Here you go.
You've never even had your own bedroom when you're 15. You've slept on the couch your whole life.
Right.
Figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
I
And
took
you
that
did that.
serious. Yeah, I
You
took
did
that
that.
serious. I took that literal.
Mm-hmm.
So I was all AP, all honor roll student. If I could play
That's
sports,
awesome.
I'm a ball harder than anybody else. If I could draw, I'm gonna draw harder than
Yes.
anybody.
Wow.
Whatever I could do, I'm gonna do it better than everybody else because
Wow.
I wanted to change the trajectory of my life.
That's
you
right,
did.
and you
And you did do
definitely
that.
did that. Wow.
So that's the first small bit of my life, 10% of my life right there.
What about your mama?
Yeah, that's a touching subject because
I'm sorry.
no, you're good. My mom never made it to the United States. We applied for her it took the United States 10 years to give us our green card. 10 years. Something that's supposed to take, 2, 3, 5 years? Took him 10 years, and my dad never financially got stable. So he never had the luxury of, we applied every year, but they kept denying because he could never show on paper.
Exactly.
He's a janitor. So
Yeah.
he could never show on paper
That he can
that he
actually
could afford because he
support.
could barely afford me.
Yes.
Right.
He could barely afford me. So imagine a wife and 2 other kids. He could barely afford me.
Right.
So when my dad left, he went back for his woman, the one that he loved. But the way he went back for my mom, he came back with 13 men. They went to my mom's house, and he went to go find my dad. And the reason why my mom forced my dad to take me is because I carry my dad's name.
Okay.
And my mom felt like if my dad left me behind, Sidas would kill me if he
Right.
couldn't get my dad.
Right.
Somebody's gonna have to pay.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the next boy.
Yes.
Take him. Take him with you.
Chop him off.
Mm-hmm.
So Sidas went back to kill my dad. My dad wasn't there. So he ordered his men to rape my mom and my sisters. My mom, being who she was, my youngest sister at that time was 2 and 10. She begged that they didn't rape my sisters.
Right.
Of course. Yeah.
So those 13 men raped my mom. My mom had 5 C-sections at that time. And you can't pass 3.
Right.
But Haiti don't believe in that.
No, they don't.
Right, and back we used to do the old ones, not the little cute
Yeah,
ones.
the cute ones,
The
no.
old ones, some gangster ones. She had 5 C-sections, so my mom already had an issue with bleeding at her stomach. She developed cancer from that situation, and in 2015 she died of stomach
I'm
cancer.
so
So
sorry
she never
to
made
hear
it
that.
here. Yeah,
So
she
sorry.
never-
So
she
sorry
never
to hear
made it
that.
here.
Yes. With everything that you have gone through, this is a lot. This is a journey.
Yeah,
And you're
yeah.
saying that's 10%.
Yeah, that's only 10%
So
of
I
my
can
You
only-
asked me for the first 17 years, so yeah.
My gosh.
Yeah.
This is a lot. So how, because you just seem so well-spoken, poised,
you're
so put
calm.
together. How did you get to a healing place?
That's a good question. I think it's a process. I don't think it's ever an infinite thing or I've made it. That's a fallacy.
Okay.
I don't believe I don't never preach complete healing either. Even though
No.
I preach the word of God,
Exactly.
I'm extremely educated. I don't believe that because as long as you hold something called a memory, it's going to limit that.
Absolutely.
It's going to limit that.
I
You
agree
have
with
a
that.
memory, right? God said I can erase the east far west because you can erase that junk. You got the power. I don't. I live in the shell.
Yeah.
Avery's going to remember some stuff, right?
Oh, yeah.
So I think is when I became vocal.
There you go.
When I became
There you go.
vocal.
Yes.
I think that was the biggest catalyst for me. Since I was 19, I remember my college professor in English, when I was taking public speaking, write a book. The first thing he told me, write your life.
Put it on
Yes.
paper.
And I'm looking at him like, he's like, no, you don't get it. Write about your life. Never paid attention to that garbage. Then I started getting involved in poetry. And I love poetry, but back then we had Tupac, we had Nas,
Right,
we
right.
had Biggie. We're like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So I got heavily involved in poetry, and I was always on the spoken word stage and stuff like that. And people saw something inside of me that I could not see in myself. But through my poetry, I was able to release a lot of that through poetry,
Healing.
through written format, right? Through that artistic skill. Like I would write about being raped. I would write about being homeless. I would write about being shot or being in prison. I would write about all of these things. But
Yes.
the more I spoke about it, the less the burden it was on me.
I get it. We get it.
We definitely get
it was
it.
a heavy load to carry.
Right.
And I found out that not only was it releasing the load that I was carrying that was more than I could bear, but other people was able to get a little something out of my
Correct.
pain
Correct.
through my journey. And it
Correct.
was just, I didn't get them like, but they're getting
Yes.
a release or a blessing or
Correct.
some type of guidance or whatever it was that they chose to get from that particular situation.
Yes.
People were being blessed just to listen through my story. I'm thinking, man,
That's true.
I guess from my story to their glory, right?
There you
Right.
go.
So that really helped me
That's where it started.
understood that there was a purpose in my pain.
Yes, sir.
So I would not even change my life over again.
Yeah.
Because I believe that the character of person that I am today was because, and I choose the word luxury all the time to describe my pain, because of the luxury that I had to be strong enough and dependent. God depended on me to be able to endure that.
Right.
There's a story called Job, some young guy in the Bible called Job.
Job.
Job was like the richest guy of his time. He owned everything. You know, God had the audacity to tell Satan, go try that dude. How dare God? God had the audacity to say,
Yes.
you thought about Job? Job was a good dude. Why would you do that, God, right? But Job lost everything.
Yes.
Family, work. But God trusted that Job, what he put in Job was strong enough to endure whatever.
Yes.
I had to learn that the hard way.
Yes.
That God trusted whatever he put in me was strong enough to endure whatever the enemy
That's
was
right.
going to throw at me. And so far, God has been
Isn't that
100%
something?
right.
Dejean, we say this all the time. I just love hearing that come from you. But we say this all the time. The moment we started to share our story,
Yep.
the moment we decided to share our story, to do this show, is when we begin to heal. Then we saw it through other people. We could be walking down the street or at a restaurant or whatever, and people would say, I heard you. You helped me. That happened to me as well. So we cannot let this go. That's our purpose, to be here, to have this platform, to continue to help somebody,
Amen.
whether it's one, whether it's two, whatever, to help others. And you are doing the very same.
Just
Thank
We
you,
appreciate
thank
you coming on here.
No, thank
and
you, thank you.
Telling your story to
Yes.
us and all of the viewers.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah.
Man. I've learned so much throughout this journey. It's created a lot of purpose too.
Yes.
There's a lot of things I get to work on. So by understanding the prison complex, I was able to create. Right now in South Florida, I teach business in 3 prisons. Right. So men and women that's coming out of prison, I go into the prison. I teach 3 years before they get
That's
released.
amazing.
I teach business so that way when they come out,
They're ready.
they already have a business. They don't have to go beg for a job that they're
Exactly.
not going to get.
God bless you.
Because recidivism is at 67%, and that impacts 70% of our people.
Yeah.
And there are children that are 140% of going to prison without ever committing a crime.
Right.
Right? School to prison pipeline. Right? But who is that impacting? Right? What is prison? What is that? Right? What is that? Chapter 13, part 2. It's a slave complex. It's
Yes.
the new modern slavery. So I was able to learn that from the prison system. And then throughout that process, I'm like, well, you know what? Nobody's helping those kids.
Nobody.
Nobody's helping.
Nobody.
So I started a brand called Restored Apparel. And Restored Apparel is the only clothing brand in the world where when you invest, and I never say purchase, when you invest $1 into Restored, we take a portion of your money and we put in a scholarship program with Broward and Dade College.
That's
and
amazing.
any kid that has a parent that's incarcerated, we send them to college for free.
That's awesome.
I love that.
God
we send them
bless
to college
you.
for free, right? So that's our goal. Like our goal is to send as much kids that has a parent that's incarcerated for free. As a matter of fact, I brought you guys some Restored
You did,
Apparel.
yes.
Of course.
Well,
we
we definitely gonna
I never
rock
go.
it.
We
So I
will
don't know
rock
what
it.
colors y'all got.
We're gonna
I
rock it,
brought
that's for sure.
pink.
What?
I brought white. I like olive green. I brought the colors I like. I brought black. So I brought a whole bunch of different Restored Apparel
Thank
from
you.
Restored
Thank
Apparel.
you.
Thank
Oh,
you,
you
thank
welcome.
you.
You welcome. You welcome. So we brought a whole bunch of.
Thank you.
Brought some for everybody on staff. So
Yes.
Yes, thank you so much.
oh, you welcome.
Yeah.
I mean, this purpose. You know, I learned how
Yeah,
to
there's
teach
a reason
people.
behind it.
Now I teach people business. I teach people financial literacy. I teach people how to speak. All of the gifts that I was able to learn. But one thing that I learned at a very young age is I was like that little Haitian kid that was under that tree where all those people would be playing dominoes, right? Try to give you a visual.
Yeah.
And I was just sitting there and listen to those
Listening.
old people talk.
Yes,
yes.
they got knowledge now.
Right? The wealth of my knowledge came through communication.
Yes.
Shut up and just listen.
Listen.
Right there. I've never, at my teen years to my early 20s, hung around people my age. Everybody was like 60 plus. My mentor
learning
at
something.
19 was a 70-year-old Jewish white guy.
Those are the best.
That was my
the
mentor.
thing is,
Yeah.
I
He
love
took
to-
me under his wing. He's like, you little kid, come here.
Aw.
Right.
He took me under his
Yeah.
wing, and he saw something inside me that I didn't.
You didn't
That's
see.
right.
And then I had a 50-year-old white doctor, and then I had a 60-year-old military black Haitian. Then I had a pastor, right? But my mentors always came in different systems, but they were like 3-4 times my age,
Exactly.
my
That's
wisdom.
good. They're so wise, though. I'd love
Very.
to listen to.
I listen to my elders.
And I
listen.
think that's something that we lack in today's society.
Absolutely.
Because of the age of information, we know it all.
Right. Right.
But we have more information, but we're dumber than ever before.
Right.
More information, but dumber than ever before. Because we don't know how to take from wisdom.
Yeah.
Young people are strong and we're resilient, that's true. but wisdom comes from experience.
Absolutely.
Correct. You need to listen to
And-
it. Sit down.
and
Sit
I
down
would-
with someone 70,
I love to
60,
do that.
70 years old.
Because
love it.
I was going through a journey that I've never embarked on. And I wanted to survive.
Yes.
Because my journey was not sexy,
No.
right? So I remember there was times when I was like 17, I always attended church for some reason. I would break into my church at nighttime just so I could sleep. And I would take a shower in my pastor's office. He wouldn't even know. I volunteered to drive the church van just so I could have something to ride around in.
Right, right.
What? I got a license. Can I drive the people for you? Every Sunday,
survived.
I'll go pick them
I'll
up.
go pick
I
'em
promise
up.
I'm going to get on top. And I'm going to drop them home.
That's right.
Yeah.
You survived though, didn't you?
Yeah,
He's a
I remember.
survivor. You
thought-
Yeah, because I lived out of my duffel bag. I'll break into my school for food. I'll get a gym membership where I'll go shower at the gym. There's always a way.
There's always
but
a
you
way.
have to have a resilience about you
Yes.
and an under baseline of faith.
Hats off to you.
That for
Hats
sure.
off to you.
You gotta have it under
God
baseline
has
of faith.
protected you this whole time.
Yes,
My
ma'am.
goodness, and continues
Yes.
to do
And
so.
continues to do so.
Yes, he does.
What I want to
Yes, he
know
does.
is, you had to have sought some type of help, right?
I've sought help, not in what we call the traditional sense. A lot
Okay.
of times I've realized that when people see you from a certain light, the help that they want to provide you is not what is actually needed. So people think you're stronger than you really are. I guess that's what I really want to say. So when people would look at Dejean Talks, even if I would go to a therapist, but that's Dejean Talks though. There's a biasness that comes with the help. As if it was just like a regular person that was on the street and they'll go get help. There's a biasness to my strength. And they're seeing Superman and I'm seeing Clark Kent.
Okay.
Right.
Right.
Like, what are you looking at?
Right.
I don't know what you see. I see a little boy up in here, but you
Right.
see something different. And I don't feel like I am a big component. I advise everybody to go to get some type of therapy, especially mental and emotional therapy. Your emotional IQ. I don't think people focus on that as much as the mental. We all focus on the mental, but the emotional IQ out here is very low.
Yes.
It is atrocious.
Extremely low.
That's why you got to walk on eggshells, everybody, because the
You do.
emotional IQ is
You don't
atrocious.
know what's going to happen.
I always recommend working on your emotional IQ and working your mental side because especially in our culture, we don't believe in that stuff.
No.
But I believe in that. But I think with me, what had happened was when I started seeking that, I saw this biasness in how I was getting help.
Okay.
And it was not as deft as I would teach it or help somebody.
Exactly.
So you know what? I said, you know what? God, last time I checked the Bible, you were talking to a guy named Saul. He turned to Paul. You didn't even waste your time taking him to the 12
No.
because the 12 still was here. He could learn from them.
Right.
But there was going to be a biasness with the 12. He's like, I got you. And I can say I've had the luxury of God saying, he got me.
Yes.
And when he says in the scripture, I will give you peace that surpasses all your understanding, I really understand that. Because when people look at me, you're supposed to be bitter. Why is your heart, why do you still want to help people?
Because you have God
Right?
in your life.
Right? And I couldn't even give him a
Faith.
real answer because with what I've seen, I'm supposed to be bitter. I'm
Right.
supposed to be angry and I'm not supposed to like absolutely no, I'm not supposed to have no joy.
Right.
No joy. But I have the greatest level of peace and joy in my life regardless of what I go through. And if I told you I know how, I would be lying because I
Yes. Yes.
You've been carried this whole way. God's got you.
don't. God's got me. Most definitely.
That's awesome.
Most definitely.
My goodness.
Yeah, I'm just amazed.
I know, right?
Yeah, you've been through so much, but you're just inspiring so many people.
Thank you.
You
thank
are
thank you.
one blessed man.
I am. I
And you
receive
don't
it.
stop, and you don't stop. That's the thing. You
And
don't stop.
That's
I'm
what
still
makes
breathing.
Yes.
You're growing. You still.
I'm still
You're
breathing.
reaching. I'm doing this.
He
I'm
has so
doing
much
this.
more to do.
Right. You feel like you haven't done enough,
As
even
long
with
as I get
everything you've
another
done.
day, yeah. I still got more to do.
Yes.
You have some books as well.
Yeah, I have about 3 books coming out within the end of this month for my birthday gifts
Oh
to
my
myself.
goodness.
I have 3 books coming out. The first one is called The Power of Execution.
Okay.
I am known as the no excuse motivational speaker. There's nothing you're going to tell me that's going to sway me, emotionally move me to give me no excuses. Because when people look at my life canvas, what are you going to tell me that's going to give me an excuse?
Yeah.
I'm going to look at you
Nothing.
like,
He's like, come on.
Really?
Yes.
Look what I'd had to deal with. Look what I went
what are
through.
you telling me here?
No excuses.
How long have you been doing this problem and what solutions have you already created?
There you go.
You've been doing this all your life. What solutions have you created? So I'm known as the no excuse, nonsense type of motivational speaker. So I created a book called The Power of Execution. It's a personal and business oriented goal on achieving your goals, but also not making the excuses why you're achieving your goals. And I give them strategic steps that I learned throughout the course of life through my education. I have a Stanford and Harvard education. So
Say that.
I've acquired a lot
goodness.
of wealth from the education, but I'm also a street dude too, right?
Right.
So,
You know
street
both.
dude is-
Up on me.
Yeah,
You know both.
I'm a street dude too. So my first education was street. So I'm balanced in that regard. So I'm
Right.
able to talk to both sides of the spectrum and make it applicable for the lowest level of common denominator to the most intellect of common
Right.
denominators, because you got to reach all spectrums. So I'm pushing that out there, and hopefully. It's a 70-page book, so my favorite number is 7. So I stopped at 70 pages, and I believe that if somebody actually applies, because you can acquire the knowledge, but the application
You
is
gotta apply
where the
yourself.
execution is
That's
at, right?
Right.
So if they read and don't just retain, but they read and apply, then
They got it.
I guarantee a 70% ROI
work.
on everybody that applies. So that's a huge thing. Then I have a poetry book that I'm launching on, which is kind of like a pre-tell of my my memoir that's coming out, but it's through more of a poetic, emotional flair. So I take you
Okay.
through emotional roller coaster of my life, whether it was the first time that I made love,
Yeah. Wow.
or me sleeping on the street and it
Right.
was pouring rain that night, and I literally take you through like a miniature movie, but in a poetic sense.
Right. Okay.
You know, I grew up watching Tupac, so you know I got
All
a
right.
poetic flair.
Yeah.
You know? So there's a poetic flair, and then I have my memoir.
Yes.
And the memoir
When's the memoir
really,
coming out?
the memoir comes out for my birthday.
This one?
year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So May 25th.
Happy
So-
early
We'll be
birthday.
Thank
purchasing
you,
that
thank
book
you.
for
Yes.
sure.
Thank you. And the memoir is a commemorate to that first quarter of my life. And I've learned that I am a very descriptive, detailed writer. So it takes me forever to write, because I literally want a minute movie playing in your head.
Right,
Like,
right.
you could see my posture, you could see my clothes, you could see the wrinkleness, you could see the expression of my face as I'm speaking to my father. Like, I want you to see it
Yes.
in your head
Visualize
as
it.
you
Yes.
read it, right? And then I'm trying to make that into a Netflix series.
Make
Yes.
it happen. Make it
And so
happen.
people, I've contacted a lot of directors in Cali and New York. I've got a lot of great feedback thus far. I've been traveling back and forth, and I've gotten a couple offers to try to write my story. Right now, I'm trying to raise $250,000 right now.
Oh,
I'm
you can
raising-
do it.
I'm raising $250,000.
It's a done deal.
It's gonna happen.
Period.
I'm raising $250,000 to shoot the first 3 segments, and we're gonna pitch it to Netflix because my life has been compared to The Pursuit of Happiness
Yes.
and the book Power, but on steroids.
Yes, that is on
So,
steroids.
yeah. So my life is The Pursuit of Happiness. If you take that and Power put together,
Together?
that's
That's
my
it.
real
That's
life.
it. Yes.
That's it.
It's not fixed. That's my actually real
Yes.
life. And then I'm working in the domestic violence conference at the end of the month, May 28th in Atlanta. It's called The Plea.
Yes.
It's called The Plea. It's a domestic violence conference, and I feel like it's time for a man to speak on the subject.
It's time.
Absolutely.
definitely-
It's overdue.
well
It's
overdue.
overdue.
And I think we need to stop focusing on the victim, not saying that the victim doesn't need the help, but we need to focus on the perpetrator, the mindset.
Their mindset.
Because if I remove the victim, there's going to be another victim.
Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't really do anything.
Yeah.
I'm just making money off the healing the victim because there's money to be
Of
made
course.
there. So we're just going to focus there because there's a business there.
Right.
Oh, I'm going to give you housing. Oh, I'm going to give you employment. Oh, I'm going to give you medicine.
Right.
There's a business there. So we're going to continue to pacify the situation, but we're not going to cure the situation. Why? Why cure it if we can keep making money from it? So
Right.
people are profiting off of pain, and I'm not a guy that likes that.
So you're going to speak.
Yeah,
on
I
it.
go against the narrative.
gonna
I
speak
don't-
on this
Yeah,
now.
I go against the narrative. I have a guy, I can't say his name yet because I want it to be a surprise. He actually was in the movie Coming to America too with Eddie Murphy. He's one of the speakers.
Aw.
He's one of the speakers. So he actually said, yeah, I would love to.
Yeah.
I'm like, word? You were just Coming to America too on the big screen,
right,
right?
right.
Big screen. He's like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, I would love to
Yes.
have you. Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm working on a lot of those things, and I have my radio show coming out in first week of June.
Yay.
You can't lose.
Yeah, it's called
You won't lose.
Iconic Convo with a K.
Oh, I love that.
Iconic, IK, and then a Convo with a K also. So it's called Iconic Convo, where we're bringing on different entrepreneurs and bringing on different people that's actually doing things in the community.
Right.
There you go.
And last month, I was just awarded, I am now the president over prison reform in Macon, Georgia.
gosh.
So for New Order National Rights Human Organization, I'm the president. I run that chapter over there. So
Congratulations.
anytime there's an
Wow.
injustice happening to one of us, whether we're shot down on the street or
Congratulations.
beating, recently I was the news
I
because
saw you on the news.
yeah, a 7-year-old child was shot in the neck at
Yes.
home playing video games.
My goodness.
Congratulations.
That broke my heart. That
you
broke
know,
my
That
heart.
is.
I would love for us to introduce you to Desmond Meade, Mr. Desmond
Yeah, I know
Meade.
Desmond Meade.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, chapter
good.
4 guy.
There you go.
Miami.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised what I know.
Yeah, he knows quite a bit of people.
He was incarcerated as well, like me.
Yes.
He got his law degree. They told him he couldn't practice, but he's
Yes.
going to use the knowledge.
There
Yes.
you go.
That's the aspect of application, right? Him and John Legend really worked hard on that campaign.
Nice.
And even though we got it to pass,
Yeah, I know.
even though we
know.
get it to pass.
I know.
Because right now, I think over 60% of Americans have some type of on their record.
Mm-hmm.
Over 60%.
Right.
And about 40% of them have a felony. And 680,000 people come out of prison every year.
Yes.
I know this because I study this for a
Of
living.
course.
So 680,000 people come out every year. Imagine giving 680,000 people back their votes, rights every year.
Right.
You know what that would do to Congress?
Oh yeah.
What that
Oh,
would do?
yeah.
You're giving everybody back their right to vote because that's your power. Because I can still pay taxes, but I don't have a voice. Think about that. My money's still good. Still green. My
Yeah.
tax money's dope.
Right.
Banging.
Yes.
I ain't got no voice, so really
Nothing.
what good is that?
Exactly.
I don't have a voice. I can't say what happens in my community. I can't say what happens in my local city and my commissioners. So that is crucial for people to understand that.
Yeah.
Because people thinking that if you keep somebody incarcerated, that's a benefit. Well, it's not. It's actually a disadvantage to you. Because to keep somebody incarcerated, it costs you,
Yes.
not the state,
Right.
you,
As taxpayers.
$30,000 to $60,000 a year per inmate.
It's crazy.
That's actually coming out of your
Pocket.
tax. But they don't tell you that. on
No,
the
they're not
ballots,
going to
right?
tell you that.
Okay,
No.
so you're paying
Look,
30,
we know
60
that.
grand a year. 30, 60 grand a year to keep somebody incarcerated. But when they come out, you won't pay them $7 an hour. That don't make no sense.
You
But
see,
then you
there's
said
so
this-
much work to be done.
It's a
But
lot.
they say there's no money to help rehabilitate them or provide them housing. Watch this. If I reduce recidivism by 4% through education, which is what I'm doing, by 4%, you know how much money that saves you a year? That's $1 billion tax dollars. If we just reduce it, it's right now 67%. If we reduce it to just 63%, that's one extra billion tax dollars that doesn't have to go into the prison. Watch now. If I have one extra $1 billion, it sounds like I could do a lot now. In education, it says we can reduce it by 40%.
40%.
Why do you think they took away the education out of prisons? Once they took away the Pell Grants, there's no more education. You can't get no law degree.
Yeah.
They give you your GED the last year before you get out, even if you spend a 50-year sentence.
Really?
Nope. Yep. That's the new system. Once they removed the Pell Grant, the age of technology came in, there was a problem because nobody's doing these little paper stuff no more. Because they used to send them in, like the pen pals. You send it in, you fill it out, you send that. They don't do that no more. And then people in prison are not allowed to use the internet. Stuff that they don't tell
You
us,
should
right?
have, I know, but you know what? You have so much going on here. If I were you, I would end up with a headache because it's just so much going on and you have so much information. But the thing is, it's because you've been involved. It happened to you.
Exactly.
That's the thing. It happened to you. It's not like you're speaking on it because it happened to your neighbor.
No.
It happened
Experience.
to you. This is something that happened to you, so you're very passionate about all these things.
And it shows.
Yeah, about all these things. We wish you so much success.
Well, thank you, thank you.
Really
Can I
do.
give one last cliffhanger?
course.
No, yeah.
Every Saturday, guys, from 11 to 1, I teach a business class. It's a 4-week business class. The traditional cost is 15 grand. I'm doing a special for 1 grand, believe it or not, right? And this business class encompasses whatever a business owner would like to do within a 4-year education at Harvard, Yale, Princeton, or Oxford. I'm going to cram it into 4 weeks.
Oh my gosh.
You know how much it costs to go to a school?
Yes, we already know.
Okay. And I teach the concept called business model canvas or design thinking, which is a human-centered side of looking at business. Amazon just lost over $40 billion in the past 2 weeks
That's
because
awful,
they
yeah.
took their eye off the human-centered because they don't see the inflation while we're in a recession. They're not focusing. Even big boy Amazon can make a mistake.
Oh, yeah.
Even big boy Amazon can make a mistake, right? So if you're not really understanding how to keep your human-centered side of your customer as a focal point and you start to focus on just the progression of your business is going to end up like Toys R Us or Blockbuster or any of those other businesses.
true. Right, that
I
fails.
remember
Right.
those names, right?
Right.
Because you're not looking at the projections and the curve of the business, right?
Right.
So I teach business owners that don't have the time to waste.
Yeah.
And they got kids to take care
Exactly.
of. They got money that's invested.
Yes.
So a
How
month,
in
4 weeks.
4 weeks, we can take you from duplicating the process to duplicating the effort and duplicating the finances,
Okay.
right? So I want to teach people how to do exactly what they're doing without working 20 extra hours,
Exactly.
but making 3 times as much money.
Right. Well, we'll post that information too.
Yeah, thank
This
you. I
is just
appreciate it.
awesome.
We'll post it.
I have two extra questions.
Shoot, I hope I
Yeah.
got an answer.
Yeah, no, I want to know with what you went through, how has that impacted your relationship with women?
Oh, that's a phenomenal question. It has been a roller coaster of a ride, right?
no.
That's no, it has. I learned. So I was mature young.
Okay.
So at 17, my girlfriend was 22. I never dated nobody my age or younger. I just didn't care for them because my lifestyle didn't match that.
Okay.
I had
You don't
to
need
date
no
older.
kids. Be involved with kids.
I,
You
I
need
couldn't do it because
Right.
what they want to do, I have bills. I got bills. I got real bills
Yes.
here. And what your parents are paying is what I'm paying.
Right.
I got real bills. So I remember at 17, I had my first heartbreak. So my girlfriend, she was a senior in college, I was a senior in high school. And then she was living in the college dorms and she got kicked out. I got my little apartment. I'm balling at this time. I'm going to go homeless. I got my little job. I'm going to high school working 2 jobs. I'm a manager at McDonald's and I'm doing medical transport at the hospital. So I'm working 2 jobs and going to high school, right?
goodness.
No sleep. Team, no sleep.
Yes.
She got kicked out. She's my girl. I'm like, all right, move in. Before you know it, her little brother moved in.
Oh.
Before you know it, her sister-in-law
Oh,
moved in.
come on.
Before you know it, sister-in-law baby moved in, right?
Toot.
So you had
I'm
10
taking
people in the
toot
house.
one, yeah.
Yes.
I'm taking- and then at 4 o'clock in the morning one day, I'm exhausted. She's driving my car. She's in her car. And then I'm calling her. I'm like, listen, I got SAT in the morning.
Right.
I'm tired. Come pick me up so I can be ready to go take SATs. Nobody come pick me up. I walked an hour home.
Everybody get out.
I walked an hour home.
Everybody get out.
Nobody's home. But she's in the bedroom with somebody else.
What?
4 o'clock in the morning in my house that I paid for. And I
Spun.
paid. She didn't pay a bill in the house. I'm only a 17-year-old kid. 17-year-old kid.
What did you do?
Well, you know, I was a gangster back then.
I was going to say.
I
Don't
had
say
to-
it then. Don't
What
say it
did
out
you
loud.
do?
I was a gangster back then.
That's
all
it.
I'm
That's
gonna
all
say.
he's saying. He was a gangster.
I was a real
can't
gangster
say.
back
That's
then.
it.
Like, I was not a fake Tupac. I was a real Tupac. Tupac was a poet and an actor.
You didn't have thug life on your
No,
stomach?
I didn't need it. I was Thug Life. I didn't need it. Tupac played the role.
Right.
I was
You
the role.
was.
Yeah, he played a good role. That's not real Tupac. But me, I am the real Tupac.
My Lord.
I was a whole different monster back
I
then.
can only
There's no God in
imagine.
this. So that I just
Oh
give
my
that story to give you an
gosh.
example. So that I already had a hardened heart already, and I tried to open it. So you've seen what I went through. So I already had a hardened heart.
Yeah.
And that was my first one.
And this is what you do?
You understand?
Come
I
on.
just try to open it up, and this is what I get, man. I was a savage after that. No lie.
Yeah, I
bet.
can only
I
imagine.
I'm
Yeah.
not even gonna front to you
That's
guys.
what happened.
I'm not gonna pretend to be somebody I was not. I
Right.
was a savage.
Yeah.
I bet. I can see
and
it
I was
now.
prom king, so you know I was a
Yeah,
savage.
you was a savage.
And
I was an athlete.
nothing. Come
Oh,
on.
that's it.
Right? But nonetheless, I learned that what really impacted me more was not because I didn't have a relationship with my mother, so I really didn't know how to, because I never saw my dad communicate with women.
Right.
The whole time he lived with me, he never took another woman in the house. It was always just me and him.
Yeah.
So I'm just used to dealing with a man, and a very military, mean
Right, right,
man.
Right.
Structure.
Yeah, like shut
Yeah.
up, man up, do what I say, don't move,
That's
don't,
it.
don't. So
Yeah.
I'm not used to like another alternative. It's okay,
A little
baby.
soft.
I'm not used to that junk.
No. Like, get your hand off
So I
me.
learned very early, but I was not a great communicator. And my patience was really short.
Yeah.
I was not a great communicator. My patience was short, and I was not emotional. And I did not know what emotional IQ was.
Yes.
I did not.
But, I mean, with everything,
Everything
that
you've been through,
that's
yeah,
why.
there's- yeah.
right? But what really impacted me in my relationships was what happened to me when I was 6.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I didn't know what, in weightlifting we call it muscle memory. In therapy it has something different. I can't recall the name right now, but where your body will remember a trauma that happened to it for the rest of its life.
Absolutely.
So remember when we talked earlier about the healing, and I said I don't believe in 100%. This is why I say that. So when I started having my sexual encounters with women, there were positions if you would put me in, my body would shut down. I couldn't tell you why. I could want her to bad.
Because
Yes.
what happened at
Like,
6
man,
years
she's
old.
fine.
yeah.
Well, I want that right. She's
Right,
fine.
right.
This is telling me she's fine.
Right.
But my body is saying,
Exactly.
when you're put in this particular situation,
You shut-
or
everything shuts
position,
down.
And I couldn't tell you for the life. I thought I'm broken again. I'm thinking, man, I'm broken again. Man, I'm broken. I was not broken. It's just I had to learn that my body would not react to certain situations. I had to relearn.
It was
Yeah,
trauma.
It's traumatizing.
Yeah, because I went from trauma to trauma to trauma, so I never really had time to deal with them. So I was just
No,
moving
you
through.
just kept going through.
It's just all right,
And that
next,
doesn't work.
Next,
Yeah,
right?
because you were trying to survive.
I was trying to survive. So when I actually had to slow down and actually engage with other people and
There
not
you
just
go.
survive,
That's
when
when
I
you-
went from surviving to living, I realized, what's going on here? And I had to relearn
Right.
who I am,
Yeah.
relearn my body, relearn my likes and dislikes. And that had a huge impact on my
Yes,
life.
yes.
And just not being emotionally available.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like detached.
Yeah, so that was real tough. And I was looking for that. How do you say it? I was looking for a love or family unit that I never had.
Right.
And I invested. When I did invest, I invested into the wrong vessels.
Okay. Okay.
You didn't know.
Yeah,
you were
it's
doing
not
what
his
you,
fault.
what
Nobody
you
told me
thought
how
was
to
the best
filter out the
thing.
process, right? Nobody
Right.
really teaches. Our Haitian parents didn't tell you this is what a good person
No,
is.
No.
they don't.
Just
Yeah.
go get a man, a God, or a woman, or
That's
a
it.
doctor, right?
That's it.
Those are the right? But that's so superficial.
It is.
So I don't know if that answered your question.
That did answer my question. And then I also wanted to know,
Yes, ma'am.
how long did you spend time in prison?
Which time?
Oh boy.
Well, total
Yeah.
time. How long total?
Well, the first time when I was a kid was the 30 days. When I was in the U.S. system, I was supposed to be in prison for 50 years.
What did you do?
I didn't do it. That's why I'm out talking to you right now. And that's why I was not a fan of the popo for a long time, because I'm still walking around with a broken rib.
Come on.
Yeah,
Wrongfully
'cause
accused.
Yeah, I was not just wrongfully accused. I was forced to make a statement. That
Yes.
was the only reason I went to prison.
Okay.
Because I'm not the right complexion. And I got the wrong boys in blue caught me. So I was forced to make a statement that I was not made. And then
Right.
even the people that pressed the charges against me said they didn't do it, but the police still moved
Of
forward.
course.
Put it on you.
Yeah, they said but
Case
the police,
closed.
police still moved forward with it because I was a public figure at the time. I was an educator.
Okay.
I was a black educator.
Yeah.
And I was having impact in the community.
gosh.
So I was the sacrificial lamb.
Yes.
So I went to trial, lost miserably in front of my peers of all whites because of my statement. Because of the statement that I made, because I was forced to make a statement. But no evidence, no nothing. No
Nothing.
fingerprints, no evidence, nowhere.
It's so sad.
No evidence. And then, but the whole time is, I'm gonna show you how good God is. I never prayed for a not guilty verdict of my innocence. You know what I prayed for? I told God, you know what? I'm not innocent of everything that I've done in my life. I get that. If you're trying to slow me down for whatever reason, do your thing. I said, whatever you do, I just want you to get your glory out of this situation. That was my only prayer. I swear. And it was the craziest prayer. Why would you pray for that?
Yeah.
Negro, you're looking at 50 years of
Right.
prison. And you talking about get
glory.
your
Right.
glory.
I know.
Why are you smoking? Listen, that's literally, that was my prayer.
Wow.
I swear. God is my witness. I'm a prayer. I'm in county jail and I'm teaching Bible study. I had 20 people in my pod. All of them got saved. The stories
Nice.
that the news won't tell you, right?
Of course.
Then it took the judge 3 months to sentence me. The judge that was on my case was a judge named Kobath. And he said, boy, if you get found guilty in my room, I am going to go sentence you to prison for 50 years. A week before I get sentenced, God removed him and put another judge.
Oh.
But that's why it took 3 months. God had things to do.
You needed to be there
Absolutely.
for 3 months.
Because
You
I
had lives to save.
He had thank you.
There you go.
When I was out on bond, I was so radically crazy for God at that time. I remember I was sitting in Bible study on a Wednesday night, and the pastor talking about Joshua. And he's talking about the walls of Jericho. So my dumb behind is so radical in my faith. I went to the courthouse for 7 days and 7 nights, and I walked around the courthouse every day for 7 days, 7 times. And I told God, I don't know how you're going to do it, but all of these laws are going to drop on my name. I am the first person in the United States ever to have as many charges that they trumped up against me to only be sentenced to prison for 3 years. My case was so detrimental to the Florida statute that the judge that ruled over me, the very next day, they barred him from the bench.
My
After God
goodness.
used what he used. They barred him. Because he was not supposed to sentence me for 3 years.
Right.
He was supposed to sentence me for 25 years, the minimum.
He threw the book at you.
God had a different plan.
He sure
Yes, he
did.
did.
God had a different
Yes, he
plan.
did.
So the judge was like, I don't believe he did. The judge literally saying, I don't believe he did this. It don't make no sense. He's asking me questions like, how did you get to the United States? Have you ever come to... He's like, can we get his record? I ain't got no record. Which record you going to find? I ain't got no record.
There's nothing.
Yeah, so you've been in this country this whole time, and you never... I don't even have a bunch of traffic violations,
Right.
champ. What you go find something. He's like, this will make no sense. The judge couldn't comprehend it. So the judge became my lawyer.
Okay.
And he started...
Oh, my goodness.
He started
Is this
abusing the
story?
prosecution. Oh, man.
No.
Well, he came in here with 1 charge. Why does he have 5 charges? Because he
Oh
wouldn't
my
take a plea because I
gosh.
wouldn't take a plea. My own lawyer tried to make me take a plea for 20
You
years.
said no.
Yeah, a black female. You know, females are great in certain situations. She tried to make me take a plea. I'm like, I'm not taking a plea for
Right.
something.
I didn't
didn't
do
do
it.
Because once you take a plea, you're stuck with that. You can't do no appeals.
He got you
can't
on
do-
record, sir.
You got
No,
your,
I didn't
I'm
do
not,
it.
I'm not taking a plea. After what the police taught me, I'm not talking to you guys for nothing.
Nothing.
No more. So I'm the only person in the United States. Now, I go back after I get found guilty. I got people coming into my cell. Yo. Where's that preacher man? Where's that guy Dejean? Where's that guy? Where's that preacher man? Because of you, I'm going home. Because of your case, I'm going home. Because of your case, I was going to go to prison for 20 years. I'm going to go to prison for 1 month.
That's right.
Because your case. So now
You
God is
needed to
using
be
my
there.
case.
Yeah. You needed to be
to
there.
bl- So when I told
My
that dude to
gosh.
get his glory,
Get his glory. He got his glory.
yo,
My
this dude
goodness.
don't
Wow.
play. But he wasn't done.
That's powerful.
Then I go to prison. The warden become my best friend in prison.
Oh, Lord.
I'm an inmate teaching business as an inmate. Now I'm in prison. Guess whose cell phone is on speed dial right now? The warden. Hey, you coming back? I got another prison I want you to. I'm in prison. You know, like Joseph.
Yes.
In the prison, still getting favor.
Isn't that something?
Right? I'm in prison. I'm teaching business. I'm in prison. I'm teaching public speaking courses as an inmate. No, I need you to teach this for us. Oh, I saw your background. Oh yeah, I need you to teach this. I need you to teach this. Then I'm supposed to do 36 months. The warden's like, I'll let you out in 25. The warden let me out in 25 months.
He got his glory.
He is highly favored.
Then the
That's
dude
all I
gets
can
it,
say.
and I walked
Wow.
out there with 4 additional degrees and 40 certifications
Come
in
on.
25 months.
If you don't, let
I
me
told
tell
them
you
if they're
something.
gonna hold me hostage, I'm gonna get everything I can get out of this place. I had nothing but time. I had
Yes.
25 months of playtime.
Thank goodness that you are a man of God and you speak
Yes.
about him
Yes.
constantly, daily, about what he has done for you.
Yeah,
because
he's working through him.
you would tell some people this and they'll look at you like, what is he
He's
talking
lying.
about?
Oh,
What is he
prison
talking
wasn't.
about?
Don't get it twisted. The natural side of prison was easy. I got into fights in prison. I got stabbed in prison. I got shanked. I got a big old shank
Come
for preaching
on.
the word of God.
Oh.
Somebody, while I'm doing Bible study, came and shanked me.
You weren't going to die.
He can't kill me.
No.
I mean, the streets couldn't kill me. He ain't
Yeah,
gonna
right?
kill me. I got a big old shank mark on my back while in prison, while preaching the word of God. And I just kept preaching. I kept preaching. I had my homeboy create a fake lighter and burn that junk by the end of the night.
Oh my
I
gosh.
can't.
Burned it.
with you.
Well, you know, you got to create,
Yeah.
you got to survive.
You have to survive.
You got to survive. Because if I told the officers what happened, I'm going to be a snitch. Then I'm going to have a hit on my head.
Yes.
Then they're going to put me in the hole. Then I'm probably going to be in the box for
You're
6
like,
months.
we're going to fix this right here,
Nah,
right now.
we're going to fix this in this cell. When I see him later, we'll fix that later.
Later.
But we're fixing this in this cell.
now.
Burn this thing.
Isn't that something?
So don't get it twisted. Prison was
It
not
wasn't
peaches
easy.
and cream in a
No.
natural sense.
Right.
I know I make it sound great,
Right.
but that was because of my dedication to make myself better in my environment. Better. That was a choice.
Yes.
That was a decision that I made. But prison wasn't easy. But nonetheless, my kids got birthday gifts every year. They got Christmas gifts. It was like Dad was in prison. Wasn't in prison because guess what? They didn't like nothing. In prison, I'm still paying all the bills.
Yeah.
I didn't use that as an excuse. I figured out a way.
They didn't see you daily, but they still.
My
they
kids
suffer.
didn't like a thing while I was in prison. But that also
They still
taught me
got it.
something. A lot of those men were not allowed to have the luxury that they didn't have the mind that I did. So that's why I started teaching business. To show them that you don't have to be here for the next 20 years and not provide for your family. I'm going to teach you how to
can
provide.
still do
When
it.
the state tell you no, I'm going to show you how.
And here you are. And here you are.
By the grace of God.
Yes.
Keep doing it.
By the
Yes.
grace of God.
Keep doing it. Keep spreading the word.
Mhm.
Keep sharing your knowledge. Unbelievable.
Thank you, man.
Unbelievable story. God bless you. I'm glad that you're here.
Man, tell Grant Cardone and them other guys give me on the stage. I want TD Jakes, 50 Cents,
Go ahead.
Tyler Perry, Grant Cardone,
Yeah.
all you guys.
Yes.
And we're
I'm
coming
waiting.
with him.
I'm waiting. And they
Yeah,
come
we're
with
joining
me.
them.
I'm waiting. Don't play with me. I'm waiting for y'all. 'Cause I've heard some y'all speakers. I'm not impressed. I'm waiting. Not impressed.
He said it.
I'm not
He said it.
impressed.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna be speaking on TG Shakes soon. I speak it into
It's going to
existence, Jakes.
happen.
I'm gonna speak on your stage.
It's already done. You just don't
Oh,
have
yeah.
the date yet.
I'm gonna speak on the stage. I don't care. Nobody can tell me
We
different.
love it.
Mm-hmm.
Such a strong person. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
No,
Thank you.
thank you for the opportunity. I'm very grateful. Thank
How
you guys.
can the viewers contact you?
Oh man, I make it easy for everybody. I don't care where you go. Dejean Talks, DEJEAN Talks, Instagram, IG, TikTok, website, LinkedIn.
Everything.
I don't switch it up for nothing. Everywhere you go, you just type that in, Google, YouTube. I don't
You're
care.
there.
Dejean Talks, and that's it. And you'll find me
Powerful.
everywhere. Yeah, I keep
Powerful.
it simple.
You're a very powerful person.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah.
God is powerful. He works through me.
Yes, he's doing
I
a
don't
good
want to take
job.
away from the glory.
No, he's doing a good job.
He
Look,
is.
like he said, you didn't remember that prayer that you said?
Oh yeah. Get your glory, champ. He's been doing it.
He's been doing it. My God.
He's been doing a phenomenal job, man. I remember my first week out of prison, I went to go pitch at a pitch competition for Bill Gates. I won first place. First week out of prison. I'm still homeless coming out of prison.
Wow.
Homeless, go pitch a pitch competition. And then they sent me to South by Southwest, one of the biggest platforms in the world. And I'm speaking there. Little Haitian kid, fresh from prison, homeless.
Isn't that
but
something?
looking good as a homeless guy. I always dressed like this when I was homeless.
Yes, clean.
Like this. And I'm speaking in front of the biggest companies, Uber, YouTube, Bill Gates. And I'm pitching my business
Who would've thought?
business ideas I created in prison.
Right.
That's winning first place.
Do you think,
That's all
would you
God.
have ever thought
No
this
way.
little boy,
He definitely wouldn't.
7-year-old boy in prison in Cuba would be where you are right
Today.
now? You are definitely being used. You don't see
Yes,
that?
absolutely.
Oh,
He
yeah.
is using you.
Most definitely.
Wow,
Most
and you're
definitely.
not done yet.
Nah, this is just the start.
It's
Yeah.
just the beginning.
this
Yeah,
is the
come
beginning.
on.
Can't
This is just the beginning.
Yeah, I'm excited.
We can't wait.
Like, I'm excited. This is just the beginning. I'm
Yes.
excited to see what God's going to do next.
Yes.
Oh,
He's
I
not
can't-
done
I
with
can't
him
wait.
yet. And as you spoke about Haitian
Oh, my
Heritage
peoples.
Month.
Ah, you see it?
Yes.
I rep for
What does
them all
that
day.
mean to you? Haitian
Everything.
Heritage Month. Yes.
It means everything to me. Simply because I know we get a lot of bad rep on the nose. You know,
All the time.
We can't get right. It says that cousin that just can't get right. I get it. I get it. Nonetheless, I'm the proudest as it can be, right? If you ever take this off me, I got a lot of tattoos. I got like 1804 tattoos right here.
Yeah.
Well, I don't play. Right? I love my peoples.
Yes.
But the reason why I'm proud is because the resilience in the people, even under worst
That's
conditions,
it. Yes, no matter what.
their resilience is ridiculous. Like
Yes.
for people that over 220 plus years now of depression and struggle, and they're still have a
know,
heartbeat
right?
and still pushing.
Right?
Yes.
It means the world to me. And
Don't quit.
you know, we face everything. We face every earthquake, every tragedy, everything you could think about was thrown at this little people. And I don't know why, but it just is. I don't know if it's just chosen people, spiritually speaking, and God just needs something to get back right with him. And He's gonna, like a good parent, keep pop
Spank
out
that
that
child.
blood until you get right, until we realize that. But I'm very proud because when I think about our forefathers and the resilience that they had to overcome,
Yes.
as a modern day, the new century, to overcome
Yes.
the slavery and the entrapment that they can, to make something for themselves.
Yes.
I'm never gonna take that away, man. I
No.
love my culture. I
That's
love
right.
my people.
That's right.
I was blessed to be born on that island. So
Yes.
I'm excited for this month. I'm always excited for May, and I was
Yes.
born in that month.
That's right.
That's right.
God knew what he was
Celebration.
doing. I was born in that month, man. So I'm excited. Yeah.
Awesome. Well,
That's awesome.
we've come to the end of the show, so
Oh,
we're going to have a
man.
candid minute with you.
Oh, let's do it.
Can you tell us something that not too many people know about you?
That's a good question.
Yeah, 'cause right now,
my
your
big
life
mouth
is an
speaks
open
so
book.
much.
I know.
Right? My big mouth speaks so much. I don't know what people don't know about me. Growing up, I had a lot of insecurities.
Of course.
I
But
had
that's
a-
understandable.
Yeah, it is
though.
understandable.
Not really.
No?
No.
Growing
Not when
up,
you're
I
supposed to be
mean-
a tough guy. Because think about it. I'm an athlete. I'm a straight A student. I'm prom king. Right? I'm artistic. I look like success externally. Still to today.
Inside.
If people look, that looks like success. Right? That's what they see. Internally, I was probably the
Fighter.
frailest, scariest little child ever.
Right. Right.
Right? And I walked around with a mask every day just to survive. I think a lot of people don't know that, right? I think society still do that on a certain level today,
Yes.
right? We walk around with these masks for different occasions, and I'm a master at switching out masks.
Me too.
You would never
I'm a
know
professional.
what I'm going through. I'm pro. You were never gonna know
Right.
how you doing today. Blessed and highly favored.
Yes.
I ain't even eat for 2 days.
Right,
I'm
right, right.
Blessed and
You
highly
don't even
favored.
know.
Right.
I'm sleeping in my car every night.
Yep.
I'm getting dressed like
You
this.
got
I'm
no
blessed.
place to lay your head.
Don't even
And
know,
you're
right?
blessed.
I think a lot of people didn't know until I started. I was just very insecure and great at masking myself, and I'm still good at it still
Me
today.
too. Yeah.
And
Nothing to be
pe-
proud
I
of,
don't.
though.
I don't allow a lot of people in, and maybe it's because the way I grew up.
Yes.
But it's really hard.
Yeah, to get in. Yeah.
I raise my hand to that.
You're cautious at all times.
Yeah,
You're
I'm the
very
same, yeah.
cautious.
You have to be, though.
You've been through too much.
You've been through a lot,
My circle is.
so it's understandable.
yeah,
Yeah, that's
it's
good.
a tough thing.
Yeah.
It's a tough thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that answered the question.
That did answer
It
the
did.
question,
Okay,
and
cool.
we just can't say thank you enough.
No,
we just
thank
appreciate
you.
it, and we hope this is not the last time.
Well, y'all know how to get in contact with me.
Of course.
Be here in a
Of
heartbeat.
course.
If I get my truck, I'm out.
Yeah, we appreciate you. We're so thankful that you came.
No, thank you. I'm really grateful for the opportunity. Thank you for having me on your segment. I'm excited.
You're
Thank you.
welcome.
May God continue to bless you.
Yes.
As
I'm already
he has all of your life.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I pray the same thing for the show.
Thank
I can't wait to see the new big studio.
Yes,
That's right.
Yes.
Wow. I see the
Yeah.
new partnerships and sponsorships coming.
Yes.
In Jesus' name, I receive
Yes.
that for you.
Yes.
Amen.
Nah, because your hearts are right. So
Yeah.
it has no choice but to grow.
Thank you.
It's,
Appreciate
it's
it.
inevitable. It's just a matter of time and opportunity. It's
That's it.
inevitable. It's
Thank
gonna
you so
happen.
much. We
I'm probably
receive
going to be
that.
one of the big sponsors, so it's inevitable.
We receive it.
It's inevitable.
Thank you,
It's
thank you, thank
inevitable.
you.
It's inevitable.
All right.
God bless.
No, God bless you guys. When I was born, they told me I would never walk. By the time I was 6, I was raped. By the time I was 6 and a half, I was a Haitian refugee on the run for my life. I spent 3 days in prison in Cuba. By the time I was 7, I was a refugee in a country that I didn't even know. By age 13, I was stabbed twice, shot twice. By age 15, I was homeless, sleeping under bridges and eating out of trash cans. By age 27, I was facing 50 years in prison. Does this story sound like yours? Does this story sound like somebody that you may know? My name is Dejean Talks. I'm a motivational speaker, life coach, and host. I would love to be part of your next event.
We thank you for joining us this week. Please join us next Tuesday at 6 p.m. for another guest right here from our community. There's a quote that says, "Trauma is not what happens to you. Trauma is what happens inside you as a result of what happens to you." Dejean's testimony is captivating, heartfelt, painful, and victorious. He states, instead of allowing his challenges to break him, he grew stronger and overcame. His mission is to bring hope to boys who are lost as he was once in their shoes. There is life on the other side of trauma. Our struggles and challenges do not define us. They are only part of our beautiful stories. We thank Dejean for sharing his survival journey. We are real sisters, sharing real stories within our community. We thank you for tuning in to Let's Talk About It, the Candid Conversation Show.
Let's go.
Come on, let's have a candid conversation. Let's talk about it. Just